Coming on the heels of recent agitations in Nigeria for Mr. President to resign from office on grounds of his health challenge, even if by explanations he has complied with section 145 sub 1 of the 1999 Constitution, a group, the Buhari Media Support Group BMSG, has said Nigerians should concern themselves with agitating and coming up with ideas on how best the anti-corruption fight should be sustained by the federal government. Nigerians should talk about how looters should be exposed further from what has happened. That will be the focus on this segment of the program. Why should Nigerians bother themselves more on exposing looters and to sustain the anti-corruption fight in government and not talk about the resignation of Mr. President from office? That will be the focus on this segment of Insight today. I have to sustain this conversation Honorable Austin Braimoh. Honorable Austin Braimoh is the coordinator, Buhari Media Support Group. Thanks for joining me on Insight.
It's a pleasure.
I also have Johannes Tobi, lawyer and a member of the All Progressives Youth Forum. Thanks for joining me on Insight.
A pleasure.
Okay. Yes, it is said that within the confines of the freedom of expression, that Nigerians are free to agitate, but how they go about the agitation. But your group is saying, why not narrow your agitations on the need to sustain and the anti-corruption fight, expose looters, and not bother yourselves on issues that have been taken care of by the Constitution? What informed this?
Yeah, the immediate reaction of the presidency was that the agitators were expressing their legitimate opinion, and we agree to that. It is the right of anybody to express his feelings and his opinion concerning issues of governance and anything in this country. It is their legitimate right. But our major concern is that we are playing down on very critical issues of public morality. And we need real moral reawakening in this country, because it is painful, preposterous to say the least, that on a date that an individual looted as much as 4.7 billion naira, 47.2 billion naira, and also a federal high court made that lady to forfeit such huge sum, including another $487.5 million. The same a day just after the federal government ordered a Nigerian to forfeit such an amount looted, brazenly stolen from the coffers of the federal government, the kind of money that would have transformed the critical sectors of this economy, that would have made our sufferings to be lessened. That is the same day some Nigerians choose to come out to come and ask for the resignation of the architect of this very, very noble discovery. President Buhari is in fact the face of anti-corruption in Africa, because he has just been picked by AU to be the flagship of his anti-corruption posture in the continent. If not for his good works here, that would not have happened. And then this is the president. One of his cardinal principle and program for this country is anti-corruption war. And what the masses care to know, or what they care about, is food on the table. People are not happy because after 2 years they're not seeing light everywhere. NEPA ought to be, electricity is supposed to be provided everywhere. We are still using generators. The roads are still not good. But why? The economy is in recession. Why? So the agitation the president should resign will not solve those problems. Nigerians should look back and look inward. What led us to where we are now? We expected the people to sit down and say, how can the federal high court order an individual to forfeit? Is it true? And Nigerians really do we really know the quantum of money taken by that individual? If we know, we ought to have seen people pouring into the street to condemn such an act, to tell Nigerians, look, enough is enough of these looters. And some of the looters are regrouping and spreading the same money they looted from this country. And this money are not aggregated the way we want for projects, for these roads to be constructed, for electricity to be provided. So the government is battling to see how these funds will be recovered, how they will be put into proper use, and some individuals are expressing their genuine opinion, and the opinion is that, oh, the man who is the flagship of this battle should resign because he's ill. I mean, it beats moral sense. It makes us feel that, oh, this country, we really don't know where we are going. You know, it's painful, to say the least.
Okay.
Yes.
The group in the statements circulated in the media sustained the fact that the money is enough to do a lot. He has touched on that, and one of it specifically is that the money is enough to complete the Lagos-Kano, Lagos-Calabar rail lines, from which monies are being borrowed to fund the completion of the project. How do you follow up this?
Like you said, it's first of all embarrassing, but then let me look at it from three trajectories here. The first is the moral question. Second is the institutional problems, and third is the anti-corruption war holistically. Now, like you said, that this raises a lot of moral questions about how one individual could have stolen so much. It has been quantified that the amount that has been traced to her, that was looted from Nigeria's Commonwealth, totals the GDP of about 26 countries. That is outrageous. This amount could have been used to do so many things. In this same country, where we have a very, very profound inequality, where the rich are living side by side by the extremely poor. A woman is having houses worth $34 million. In the same environment, we have people who have not eaten in 3 days. We have no electricity. We have issues with water resources. It's a profound problem. It raises a moral question of, even if you may want to call it, the lack of the fear of God, the wickedness of man against his own fellow man. Now, coming back to the institutional problems, it is important that we ask ourselves, how was it possible? Because you can't just dip your hand into into government pockets and go scot-free. What allowed this? These are the core issues, like the BMSG has said, that need to be interrogated by Nigerians. They need to ask themselves questions. Why was this possible? What is being done to fix this? And from what we have seen with the Buhari administration, we've seen that, first of all, identification. It just simply shows that we had institutions that were not working during the previous administration. With due respect to them, those institutions needed to have been able to, because it is in their constitutional, the powers granted, their statutory powers to find people who are involved in any form of money laundering and all of that, trace those amounts, and make any necessary moves to recover those amounts. Now, importantly, now we are already getting those monies back, and that is I think it answers a lot of the on the issue of the moral question. Now we're not having a situation where there's a moral awakening and a moral understanding that there is the punishment for wrongdoing. Because one of the things that we've had public officials always had is the fact that they would steal money. They know that at the end of the day, what will happen is that they will pay a fine of maybe 50,000 naira, go to jail for 2 months, and they come back, and the same wealth that was taken from Nigerians is still in their hands. Now we're having a situation where we are saying that we're not just going to deal with you, we're also going to take the wealth back and return it back to the rightful owners, and that is the Nigerian people. We're fixing the institutions, and that is fundamental. We've seen the money laundering act that was prepared by the Buhari administration and passed on to the National Assembly for amendments to strengthen the powers of the EFCC in implementation of this whole fight against corruption. That is good. We've seen the activities of PACAC, the Presidential Advisory Committee on Anti-Corruption. They've come up with the presidential, the one-stop document on the anti-corruption fight, national anti-corruption strategy and action plan document. It's amazing. We're seeing that concrete steps they have to be put, institutionalized and structured in the fight against corruption. Now that is institutions. Now coming back to the general and holistic fight against corruption, this has proven that we can achieve more successes. We can send a clear message to Nigerians that it is the end of stealing of public funds. public funds should be for the betterment of the people and nobody else, not for the private individuals. It should be a deterrent to political office holders, that it's no more the era where you think you are going into public office to make an earnings and keep billions and trillions of naira for your great children and your grandchildren and great grandchildren. It's now a time that political office holders will know that it is, you are aiming for political office because you want to serve the Nigerian people, not because you want to serve your pockets. This in itself is a strong deterrent in the anti-corruption fight. It's a big success, it's a milestone. It also shows that we are going to see more successes with other cases. I know a lot of people have equally said that the anti-corruption war of the Buhari administration, has just been more back and less bite. This is the bite, I will tell you that, and there are more bites that are going to come. It's about strengthening institutions first and foremost, because if you don't have strong institutions, they will be too weak to be able to make the bites.
Okay, some opinions say the humongous sums it looks as though it's rather exaggerated. What do you think? It looks too huge for an individual, so they feel
to take away. Yeah, the issue is Nigerians should brace up, particularly let Nigerians decide who and what they want. Do we want to continue to promote corruption or not? You see, when the protest organized by DJ Adeyanju and his colleagues, when it took off, we were at a point, I would have called it a national embarrassment. But one consolation was clear to us that most Nigerians they were not keen into that gimmick. And that is the more reason our concern about the play down on the forfeiture of this huge sum of money that you're talking about. Why it dawned on us that we need to remind Nigerians that there's need for moral reawakening, like I said. There's no point let us not continue to celebrate or support corruption. Because when the former CBN governor, the Emir of Kano, told Nigerians that over $20 billion were all remitted from the NNPC account to the CBN, and that they were missing, Nigerians felt he was just playing politics. A lot of things were said. So even when he was shoved aside by the former president, he did not get the required moral support from the Nigerian public. That does not show, that tells a lot about people in this country, whether we really want a clean and honest leadership in this country, or we want to continue to fester corrupt leadership. And we believe that majority of Nigerians want clean and honest leadership. But the few that are allowed, that we continue to hear, continue to give room to speak in public media and all that, most of them are really not they're really not speaking for the majority of Nigerians. And I want to believe those who went on air are claiming that the president should resign and all that, well, they really wanted to play down on what the government has achieved in terms of institutional reforms, public morality, and so on, economic reforms this government has put in place. I mean, the EFCC needs support. ICPC, all the agencies that are fighting corruption need to be encouraged. There's no point you hear that Braimoh is appointed Minister of Petroleum tomorrow, you come and start to celebrate organized parties for me, and then you expect me to steal public funds that runs into billions, pack them and send my children abroad, build houses and buy helicopters and planes all over for my family and members of my groups. Then Nigerians will continue to suffer. I don't think that is what Nigerians want. But there are some people who believe that is the order of the day, that should continue. And they want to encourage such that we should in fact neglect public institutions that fight corruption and continue to allow public officials to go there and pack money and loot. So if I come back, if I go home, they say, you are working for the president. How much are you being paid? How much have you I say, I'm not working for the president. I'm a moral fighter. I believe in the integrity of the president. So I'm supporting him. I'm giving him my own little support because I believe in the truth. I'm not earning any money from government. And so we want all Nigerians to do the same, to see this government as the government of the people, the first government of the people that believe that things should be done properly and appropriately, that public funds should not be used for private things. People should not just go there when you're a public office holder, you corner public funds because institutions are weak, we don't have checks and balances, they just pack this money, you loot them away, you siphon them abroad.
Okay. Judging from his argument now, let me ask you this. One problem we have noticed in Nigeria is given our diversity. The alleged looter, for instance, comes from somewhere in Nigeria. and it goes through. Braimoh comes from somewhere in Nigeria. Woodrola comes from somewhere in Nigeria. I come from somewhere in Nigeria. And when it concerns Braimoh, if you go to the tilt to where it comes from, they will say, why should it be Braimoh? How should Nigerians be thinking towards this direction?
I saw a Facebook post where
Desiani is a Nigerian.
Yes.
But if you go down to the smaller picture, maybe our ethnic nationality, why should it be here? Maybe good because she comes from here. Should that be the case?
Indeed. On this same Desiani's matter, I saw a Facebook post where someone said, "Oh, Desiani has, looted so amount. Thank God that the money is being recovered." And someone responded that it's none of your business. It is our money. It was stolen from us, so leave us alone. And this is a mentality that has been formed. It's a clannish mentality where people believe that even no matter the extent of their poverty, that as long as their brother, so-called brother, is doing fine, then we don't mind, even if he's stolen wealth and all of that. We have a problem of glorification of wealth and not questioning the sources of people's wealth. And that's why this for features and this information that is in the public right now is a consciousness changer. A lot of Nigerians right now you rest assured that it's a certain Desiani would not walk into her community and be given that same applaud anymore. Even those who will do it with caution, knowing that people are looking at them. That is the moral consciousness that we need to engender. To be very honest, like you have said, it's not there right now. We're building it. It has to be built as we're having more information, as we're knowing and understanding the implications of what people have stolen in our country. Like the BMSG statement was able to highlight the fact that the money stolen by Desiani would have done a lot of airports in Nigeria, would have built all the roads that are unbuilt in Nigeria. When people start to understand that the loot, that this man that is riding in a very expensive luxury car, that is wearing expensive luxury jewelry, is this money belongs to the road, it belongs to the hospitals that you are supposed to benefit from.
Okay, because quickly, on a lighter note, they'll say you don't know what you're doing. Yes. You're not smart. Yeah. Okay, back to you, Braimoh, as we coast home on this segment. You don't just wave off what opposition say. The opposition of this government say, within the system, despite the fact that the government is fighting corruption, there's some corruption in the system too. What message will you have for those who are listening to you, who also have that mindset that, oh, I'm here, I've hammered, I've come to also make it? What message do you have for them so that they can serve Nigeria well?
It is clear that it is no longer business as usual. It is very, very clear that you can no longer steal public funds and get away with it the way it used to be. The fight against corruption is a holistic thing. That's why I will swim and sink with this government of President Muhammad Buhari, because he started by strengthening the institutions. Although there have been hiccups, challenges here and there in trying to create healthy institutions, but he has succeeded to a very, very great extent, and that is the foundation. This institution will outlive President Muhammad Buhari. And once these institutions are there, I think, and they are strengthened, all they need is just moral support from Nigerians. Even the whistleblowing policy, are we taking advantage of it? Even within our own organizations, even within our own households, even like what happened in Ozobulu, in Anambra State, there are people who had prior information about those movements of the people who were attacked, and then a lot of people knew some persons were aggrieved. They did not cry out, they did not blow the whistle. Nigerians need to key into all these institutions that will help us, help to redeem this country. And I can assure you that I can no longer take a public office today and believe that I will take 25 million or take even 1 million from the government coffers. I believe I will sleep with my eyes closed. Because I now know that if someone is not going to blow the whistle, there'll be checks somewhere. One day, somebody will find out that 1 million I took was not used for what I picked it for. So because of that, I will not dare do it because of what is happening now. But gradually, what we need is let Nigerians come out. straight, come and support these institutions. Go, let somebody go into the street and say, I'm protesting in support, I'm protesting against so and so person who did this 10 years ago. We are protesting against who mindlessly destroyed this economy. We are protesting against these people who are regrouping again and trying to come back again to come and cause more havoc. There are a lot of things to protest over. Not that, oh, the Gary is still high, electricity is not there. Of course, they will be there. But it takes time. If you destroy, it is difficult to build. Building is gradual. And this government is steadily building and building and building. We should not be in a hurry to say, oh, what have you been doing the past 2 years? Yes, the money has been recovered. Use it now. No, it will take, the money will be used. But certainly, you will see it being used. What has been recovered will be put into public domain. It will be statutorily allocated, and you will see it, and the effect will come.
Thank you so much. I'll be speaking with Austin Braimoh, coordinator of Buhari Media Support Group. It was nice talking with you.
Thank you.
And,
it's a pleasure.
Johannes Tobi, lawyer and member of Progressive Youth Forum. Thanks for sustaining the crusade. And we believe maybe the morality in public service will really be restored.
We'll be